just quickly, because
We
I wanna
have
get the
to talk
off-season.
about
I want to get the off-season out the way.
Yeah.
So we got to talk about Ben Simmons.
this one. We actually have to talk about Kyrie one. It's sort of like, get the fucking job.
He's letting his team down. He's letting the community down.
And that one isn't updating. That isn't like a constant ongoing thing. Well, the Ben Simmons one is. So we do got to touch on it, as much to my behest.
I want to. So, me being the story bearer of this great nation, let me start you off.
Are you going to recap the
It's
whole...
a playoff series. It's a playoff
Oh
series.
my God.
alright?
So, if you didn't know anything, if you were living under a rock, just about to run it down
I'll wrap
for
it up
you.
pretty quick. Playoff series happens. Ben Simmons shits in his diapers.
Yeah, shits the bed. Does not
Forgets how to
play
play basketball altogether. I've never seen a man forget how to lay up. And then, the crowd turns on him. The fans turn on him. Doc turns on him. Embiid turns on him. Lightly, though. There's no more games to play, so there's only so much shit you can get yourself into. And then Clutch comes out, says, we don't want to play for Philly anymore. And that was to be expected, I guess.
Yeah.
If I'm Ben Simmons, and this is the thing with the Ben Simmons situation is after Doc throws me under the bus, Embiid and whatnot, the fans, you can obviously tell, aren't happy with you for objectively having a shit series. I can see where I wouldn't feel comfortable.
100%.
Anymore,
100%.
I screwed up, but the way that they've reacted makes me feel uncomfortable. So I get that. So it was kind of 50-50. And I think Kenny Smith put this in a really good way where it was kind of 50-50. But then Ben Simmons just kind of takes it to another level. And this is the part where, if you're defending Ben Simmons, I don't know how you are. The fact that he just thought he could get away with not showing up for training camp and training altogether is just absurd.
Even before preseason started, just not showing up for training and training camp.
And then we were touching on this we did an episode last season, I believe it was, about Andre Iguodala when he was traded to Memphis, refused to have anything to do with the Memphis team, despite being under contract.
Yeah.
And we said this was starting to get to a bit of a tipping point with player empowerment.
Yeah.
We're all for player empowerment, but at a certain point, when do we say, this is enough is enough? You're under contract.
Yeah.
We've traded for you.
You signed a contract.
Memphis wanted Iggy to help with their young guys. They, Dylan Brooks, Kyle Anderson, John Morant, Triple J, they have a bunch of this youth talent just oozing. And Andre Iguodala wanted nothing to do with that. He's in his tail end of his career. He wants a title run. Refused to even go to training camp. And that was a bit much for me. That's why I'm no longer really supporting Andre Iguodala for that.
It was a shit move.
Shit move. And then we see this, and we've seen shit moves, with Anthony Davis, James Harden, many players before. It's not the first time. But this is the first time I can recall since my time following the NBA where we have a situation like this with Ben Simmons. And this is why it's such a big deal to me. And the hard part of all of this, so he burnt the bridge.
Yes.
He wasn't speaking with anyone. He randomly shows up to the training facility to get the jab and bounced. Or sorry, not the jab, just get the protocol.
Yeah.
Get that checked up and bounced. Didn't tell anyone. Even Doc didn't know about it. He was going to inform Woj. I'm like, what's happening, Woj? It's such a shit show there. The hard part for Ben Simmons was showing up to training. That's the hard part, right? If I've given you shit, the fans behind me are giving you shit.
There's a barrier.
That barrier is just showing up.
Yeah, and that's the hardest part, is
He
breaking
did
that
that.
barrier. Yeah, he did show up.
And what did he do when he showed up?
Well, the first day of training, he was taking it easy, had his phone in his pocket the whole time. And if you can run around, shoot with your phone in your pocket, you're not. You're not running around and shooting. You're taking it easy. And then day 2 or day 3, he was refusing to do drills. So Doc said, "Get the fuck out of here. Go home."
Yep. This is the part that I don't understand out of all of this going on. Like I said, I understand where Philly's coming from as an organization and a fan base. I understand where Ben Simmons is coming from. I don't understand in Ben Simmons' brain where I'm going to do the hard part but not do the easy part. Once you're there, just play.
Yeah.
Just train.
You're good at basketball.
You've gotten past that barrier, like
Yeah.
you said, is a great, but all NBA talent Ben Simmons is. And for some reason, just failed at the easy part. So I don't know what's going on. And now he's come out and made a bogus excuse. His back has got tightness. And now saying Clutch has come out and said he's not mentally ready to play. I think 30 minutes ago, before we started recording this, I read an article. Apparently, he's actually finally met up with Doc Rivers, Joel Embiid, and I believe it's Maury, and he's actually told them face to face that I'm mentally not ready to play. So that's out of this whole scenario. This started from that playoff series where he shit the bed. He has not spoken to anyone. This is the first time he's spoken to anyone from that organization since that playoff series. It's insane.
It's wild. Do you remember what I texted you the other day? Because I was on my way to work and I saw a news headline when I was getting a coffee. It's like Ben Simmons when he got sent home. I texted you saying, what a way to tank your career.
Yeah. And building off of that, because you're absolutely right. You know, we just said Ben Simmons is an all-NBA talent. One of the best defenders in the league, can guard 1 through 5 very easily, very switchable, has the vision of an elite point guard, and we don't know if he can shoot because he won't shoot. He could be a great shooter for all I know. But the issue now is, does a team want to take on this mental instability?
Yeah.
You know, that's the biggest thing. We've had issues with players before, you know. It's not the first time we've had issues with players and coaches, things like that. I mean, the Pacers team hated their coach. Mm-hmm. The Atlanta team hated Lloyd Pierce.
Atlanta.
You know, it's
Dallas. This happens, right?
Yeah.
Humans are going to clash. You're not always going to like your coach.
Yeah. But a situation like this where all you really had was a bad series, the person to blame right now is Ben Simmons. Mm-hmm. The Philly organization did not blow this up.
No.
Ben Simmons, Doc Rivers, everyone in that organization was like, you know, we haven't spoken with Ben. We've attempted to reach out. I've mentioned this multiple times off the pod as well. Like, I guarantee the team is trying 100%. To reach out. And the team is admitted to that.
And those vets as well. Danny Green's a vet.
Yeah.
He stated openly he's tried to reach out.
And nothing from Ben Simmons. So this is on Ben Simmons for being blown up. Mm-hmm. There's that saying where, like, doing nothing is doing something.
Yeah.
You know, that's...
decision through indecision.
Exactly. And that's what it is. Ben Simmons thinks that being silent, doing nothing is going to get him his way. And it really has blown up in his face because, you know, these contracts, you know, can be pretty crazy, you know, but we've seen John Wall get moved. We've seen Westbrook get moved multiple times.
Yeah.
So contract isn't end all be all. No. Despite being on a max deal, he's got 150 mil, 4 years left, tied up for, like basically a whole deal. And the fact that I've just said, great deal, 150 million, 4 years. Okay. All NBA talent. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel comfortable trading anything for him.
Correct. I'm in the same boat.
It's his mentality now that I'm worried about.
If this is what happens when there's a small fire, mm-hmm. What happens when there's a big fire?
Because no one on that team came out and verbally, you know, bashed him, threw him under the bus. None of that. There were like some sneaky things, but it was just after the playoff series. Everyone was frustrated.
Emotions are high.
But no one
said, no, get him the fuck out of here.
No one said anything like that. And he hasn't had to put up with the fans in person since, because he hasn't played a game since.
Yeah.
So it's all been on Ben Simmons, and the fact that, like you said, such a small thing in the grand scheme of things, he's blown up. It is just ridiculous. And I'll stand by Charles Barkley on this. I think Charles Barkley is one of the realest people we know in the sports world, and I'll never refute anyone for having, you know, mental health issues. It's always one of the things that doesn't discriminate, right?
100%.
Regardless of your class, where you are, you can always suffer from that. You know, I thank you to Kevin Love and DeRozan for always being a face of the league for that. But it doesn't mean I can't say I expect you to be a better basketball player if you're earning $150 million. 100%. And Chuck said this recently when he was speaking on Ben Simmons. All anyone was asking for you was just be a better basketball player.
Yes.
You're earning $150 million, be a better basketball player. That's all it was.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to do that.
He's not the face of the organization.
No. It's Joel Embiid is.
Yes. Yeah. That's a heavy load to take, being the face of an organization. Yeah. But he wasn't. Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so... And I'm not going to say it's easy per se.
No.
But his situation with his peers and the competition he's going up against, his decision should have been easy.
Yeah.
Just get better. Try hard. Everyone says this. Philly, from day one, if you're a Philly fan, all we expect from players is try hard.
Yeah.
We don't care if you go 5 for 20. As long as
you take 20.
Exactly. Ben Simmons has taken 2.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Shoot.
not. Yep.
And even if you go 1 from 10, you took 10.
Yeah. So to wrap it up, because obviously we're not fans of how this whole thing has blown up, because Ben Simmons, unfortunately, is the blame now.
Yep.
It's not that 50-50 that it once was. He's really...
It's 80-20.
Yeah.
You can still place some of the blame early on Philly, but it's been blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
It's been dragged through the mud because of Ben Simmons.
Absolutely. Because, like, obviously it could have been handled better initially by Philly's front office and players in general, but they didn't make it worse.
No.
It's Ben Simmons. Like you said, Ben Simmons dragged it through the mud throughout this whole time, and he potentially has, now it's like, what do you want to trade for him? CJ McCollum's always a name that's being thrown out, and I think CJ McCollum would be a great trade for Philly, but now I don't know. Like, after I've seen Ben Simmons just kind of buckle completely mentally over something this small,
I like that trade, actually.
it's not a bad trade, right?
Yeah.
Like, theoretically,
I think it helps both
on
teams.
paper, it should help both teams.
Yeah, on paper. but, yeah.
Portland are always in the eye of scrutiny. They're a great team. Multiple 50-win seasons, made it to the Western Conference Finals, and they're still shitted on all the time.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine trading CJ McCollum, the second best player we've had for a very long time, for Ben Simmons, hoping that this will get you over the hump, and if it doesn't, is he going to buckle again?
Yeah.
That's the thing I'm worried about now. It's not his... I think he's going to be a fine basketball player.
Yeah.
Just
No,
even
it's
if-
not. It's not. It has nothing to do with his talent or his potential or his ability.